Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D'Lo and I've got another video for you today. Today we're going to be talking about the one and only Morbius. And this movie has caught a lot of people's attention today. In the last couple days, there's been some leaks. There's been some images that were put out. I would be willing to bet that Sony put them out just to build hype, build excitement, and it definitely worked. Man, I've got a lot to say about this. I'm not doing a reaction video per se, although I will react naturally to the video. We'll watch it once all the way through. Let me go ahead and switch my screen so you guys can see this. I'm going to be breaking down this trailer. I'm going to talk about everything that I see in the trailer, everything that I know from the source material, from the comics, from even the animated 90s TV series, things that they did. Please be sure to leave questions and comments along the way in the live. I'm going to be checking that periodically, looking over to my screen so I can get with you guys on who's got questions, theories, speculations. But there's a lot going on, and there's a lot going on specifically for the MCU, and that's shocking because this is a Sony-made film. This is just like Venom. It was originally designed to be separated from the MCU. But if you guys have been following my channel, you know that the MCU, Marvel, Disney, and Sony have struck a new deal to make sure that it's fair on both sides. It's not all going to Marvel, which is where it's pretty much all been going, back to Disney. And now they're saying, no, we're gonna start playing ball both ways. And I'll get to why I believe this and why you should believe this as well. It's no longer a matter of theory anymore. Now we're starting to get into some hard evidence and facts. I can't wait. Let's go ahead and cut over so that we can start taking a look at this trailer. All right, guys? So let me go ahead and set up over here. All right, and now if you guys have not seen this trailer, join me now. But in the link in the description of this video, you can watch it at Sony's page. If you like this video, be sure to like it here on my channel. And then if you like the trailer itself, go to Sony and let them know by giving it a thumbs up and letting them know in the comments, because that's what matters here on YouTube is likes, share, comment, subscribe. Those four things go a long way. So let's not dilly-dally. We'll watch it once through all the way. I'll try not to interrupt. And then we'll come back over. We'll do it again, but I'll take it shot by shot at that point, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this. Ooh. Kicking it off. Oh. Jared Leto, baby. I love the music here. It's not exactly legal. Oh. Dang, looks like a scene from The Dark Knight. Ooh. Homecoming, Far From Home, Venom. Ooh. There it is. Oh! Oh, it looks so cool. Roar. There it is. There's the shot right there. That's it right there. Morbius, baby. But it's not over. Oh, man. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take it back to the top for you guys. We have so much to break down in this. It's going to be crazy cool. Join me as we go through this shot by shot. Leave your comments. Let me know which parts of this trailer you like the best. First reaction, guys, before I get into the shot by shot, I freaking love this trailer. I absolutely love everything they did in this. It's a first trailer, but it tells you what this movie is about. It gives you the gist. It lets you know that they're hitting the ground running. It's going to be very very close to reality, and then it's going to morph into something very Dracula-esque, very it almost felt borderline like a hybrid of The Dark Knight and an X-Men film. Like a Bryan Singer X-Men film without the timeline continuity errors, although we may yet see those, and I'll get into that in just a second. But I'm so excited about this, guys. I freaking love what we're seeing. Effects look great. Makeup, gosh, Jared Leto, when he's all sickly and everything, holy cow, he looks legit. He looks legit sick. Like this is gonna probably be, if the movie's as good as the trailer, because this trailer looks amazing. If the movie holds up and is as good as the trailer foretells, I think that this could end up being in a discussion for best lead actor performance. Maybe not film, but lead actor performance. I'd be willing to bet. The Oscars love Jared Leto. I would be willing to bet we'll see something along those lines. Discussion if the movie holds up as well as the trailer. So I'm not going to say that just yet, but the trailer looks great. Let's go ahead, switch over to this shot-by-shot breakdown. I'm going to pause it along the way, and we'll talk about everything we're seeing here, okay? First, if we can, I'll get through this really quick. These countdowns in the beginning are really cool, but they're going to be moments in the actual trailer, so I'll just skip ahead. Okay, we're here. So you see this, it looks like he's at like it looks to be a Catholic school. I don't know if it's a boarding school or not, but it looks like some sort of Catholic education school. Okay, so that's Jeffrey, Jared, what's his name? Jared Harris. Jared Harris is the actor. The older guy, I'll show you in just a second, but he's talking. He's saying, I've known you since you were a child. Basically setting up the mentor figure here. Michael Morbius is the sickly kid here with the blood disease that is slowly crippling and killing him, and will be the death of him unless he can find a way to stop it. That's the gist of Michael Morbius, and that's what we're seeing here as well. Very comic book accurate, and I'll walk through that as we go. But you see here is Michael Morbius with the crutch approaching a group of kids. That was Jared Harris coming to his defense. You can see him here laying on the ground. Kids beating him up. Let me see if I can get back in here. You have a gift, walking him in through this school, the hospital, because he's obviously he's physically not healthy, not doing well. And he's watching him walking in here in crutches, but he's very smart. Very, very smart, playing chess by himself. This is Jared Harris right here. He normally plays villains. I'm really excited to see him play more of a fatherly role, more of the father figure. Adoptive parent, you might say. Not his actual parent, but someone from probably the church or school that is helping raise him. There's Jared. So they're saying here, if there's an answer to your disease, you'll find it. Obviously showing him as a kid, bringing him here till now, showing that he is a biology wizard. Look at, you see here, he's actually accepting an award for a Nobel Prize in physiology or medicine. Dr. Michael Morbius is what it says up there on the screen. And then here he's walking in on his arm crutches so that he can accept this award for his his genius in this field of study. Very, very cool way to show how intelligent this character is. And also his motivation for pursuing this education as well is literally self-preservation and to help others who have the same disease as him. Look how sickly he looks too. Whoever does makeup on this is doing a great job. Look at this. If I'm not mistaken, this is New York. Pretty sure this is New York right here. Which also says that it's bringing it a little bit closer to Spider-Man's territory. Venom took place in San Francisco. And there's two reasons why they did that. Was one, they were not sure if they were going to be able to use Tom Holland's Spider-Man yet. So they kept him separate for continuity, just to be sure that they didn't step on Marvel's toes, the MCU. And Sony was just trying to be courteous with the toys they're letting Marvel play with, which is Spider-Man. But Venom, taking place in San Francisco, allowed him to deviate from the New York City crowd, from the Daily Bugle, from Peter Parker, allows him to set himself up as a character in this world, the Sonyverse, which at the time was separate. And I'll get to what I'm talking about in just a second. But here, Morbius bringing it all the way back to the city of New York. And this is also why I think we're going to get to see a little bit more in the way of MCU territory. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me go back. I'm going to go back so we can hear that dialogue. I should have died years ago. Clearly running a bunch of tests on him. He's in the lab all the time. Trying to keep his spirits up with a song, perhaps, but literally dying every day. It's sad. It's a tragedy, really. And this is what I loved about the Hulk, actually. Characters like Morbius, characters like the Hulk are literally, it's kind of the same. They have a dichotomy where one is a genius level intellect scientist that just wants to help themselves and help others be well and healthy and that sort of thing, help their fellow man. The other side of that is that they're cursed to live with this abomination, this monster within them that could come out at any time. And in the case of Morbius, does more often than the Hulk does, and is more, I think, uncontrollable and I think scarier. Even though the Hulk is a giant green monster, just smashes everything and terrifies people, one is a living vampire and looks like a demon. So pretty gnarly, but also just, it's a beautiful tragedy as well. And I'm really glad to see it. They're leaning into the tragedy aspect of this, which is great. That's what I like about the character. Dee-dum. Why am I still here if not to fix this? I have a rare blood disease and I'm running out of time. Clearly, he looks like he's dying here, which is a very good thing. Really, really excited. Oh my gosh, dude. The Jared Leto is a freak actor. He plays ridiculously crazy roles, but I love him for that. I think that he is the best cast they could have done for this role. I think he was awesome. I thought his character in Suicide Squad as the Joker was awesome, but dramatically underplayed. And they switched gears for some reason last second and took the focus off of the Joker and put it onto Enchantress. And that, I think that ruined the film. I actually still like the majority of Suicide Squad. However, it should have and would have been better had they made Joker the primary villain. Because that was what was the interesting draw to the film in the first place. So anyway, I'm gonna play it. I like Jared Leto. Look, it's Batman. So we're seeing him here. If you guys don't already know who Michael Morbius is, Michael Morbius is the living vampire. I've said this already. You already got the gist of that from watching the trailer. But basically, he gets DNA and from bats and creates a serum with his own blood and bat DNA, and then fuses and then does electroshock therapy at the same time while he takes that, and that ignites his DNA and turns him into Morbius the living vampire, because he uses vampire bats for his research. And it's kind of like his own Spider-Man story. If you'll notice, most of Spider-Man's villains are almost all animal themed. You've got Dr. Octopus. You've got Rhino. You've got the Lizard. You've got Scorpion. You've got Morbius the Living Vampire. There's a ton of animal themed villains for Spider-Man, and they don't all get the same type of treatment as far as origin story. But Michael Morbius is not a pure villain. He is a anti-hero. He's a good guy that wants to do good, that does good when he can, but is also trapped doing the wrong thing to stay alive, and he doesn't get to control that very often. So yeah, it's a tragedy. But I like this. They give him the same origin as he had when he was in the comics, and it's incredibly comic book accurate. I'm really happy with what they're doing here, but they're also still making it feel kind of grounded. I mean, as a culture, we've come to expect these types of superhero origins, but just from the trailer, this feels tangible and within the realm of what we've kind of grown accustomed to. So it's not like a stretch of our imagination to have to go there with DNA and biology and that kind of thing. So really liking this so far. That's the serum. It's not exactly legal. So basically he says, this is my last chance. She's like, you're up to something. What is it? And he's like, it's not exactly legal. He's basically saying that, look, I've tried everything within the field of science that I am legally allowed to try. I don't have much time. I don't want to die. It's time to try things I'm not supposed to try. Because they might be the last hope for me. So now he goes, he takes off, flies in a helicopter to this island. In the comics, I believe he took a boat, like a ship or something. In this case, obviously, we have modern technology. You take a helicopter, not a boat. Let's get a shot of this. They're setting up something. This could be the electroshock therapy thing that he was talking about, that he did in the comics, or they could be going a little bit of a different route here. I think it probably is similar to the electroshock therapy. Maybe they're not showing that, but you see here a bunch of guys helping offload this crate here. So just so you know, that scientist doctor that's with him is very likely his love interest. I know in the 90s animated TV series, they actually went with Felicia Hardy, and Felicia Hardy is actually the Black Cat. Now, I do not believe that's where they're going with this story in particular, because Sony has said that they do want to do a Black Cat film. But at first they said Black Cat and Silver Sable. The internet freaked out and said we don't want it, and then they basically separated that and said no, we're going to do a Black Cat movie and a Silver Sable movie separate. And we haven't heard anything from them since. It's been a long time. No news on that front. There has been talk of a Craven film. So, you know, that is still something that I think is actually happening. We will see. But I think the love interest here is not going to be Black Cat. I think it's going to be someone a little bit more comic book accurate. There was a vampire. Someone in the comments tell me if you can someone in the comments tell me if you can hear the trailer. It's supposed to be coming through here when I play the trailer. Right now I'm not playing it, but anyway, if you guys can't hear it, that's okay. I'll reiterate any words that need to happen, but just watch the trailer on your own time. In the description, there's a link to that. I always link my sources. Sorry if you guys can't hear it. I'm really apologize for that. So basically, he takes this knife, he cuts himself with it. I don't know if there's a significance to the blade itself that he was using. I want to go back and show that really quick. See the blade? Watch that blade right there. Cuts himself, puts his hands up to this thing right here. I'm not sure exactly if those are just cables, just wires, if it's supposed to set off a certain frequency to trigger the bats. Don't know what's going on exactly, but it is making a huge stir, and this image looks awesome. So at this part, playing in my head is the Master Bruce, why do we fall? so we can learn how to pick ourselves back up. That whole like that line that Alfred tells Bruce in the Batman Begins. This feels very Dark Knight right here. Very Batman Begins-esque. She says, at what cost? So he's basically saying it's time to try stuff that's not exactly legal. That whole scene plays out, and then his partner, his love interest, says, at what cost? He starts punching the glass. Blam, blam, blam. He's undergoing a physical transformation. Very personally traumatic. Okay, this part, super, super important right here. Check this out. Okay, from the studio that brought you Spider-Man Homecoming, it goes on to say Far From Home and Venom. What's the significance of this? Well, quick business history for you guys who have been following the Sony Spider-Man. Spider-Man was taken out of the MCU for a moment. There was a disagreement between Sony and Disney. Sony said, hey, we want to keep making movies and sharing profits. And Disney said, we want all the money. And Sony said, screw you, we're taking back Spider-Man. So that's the gist of it. Well, after a couple of weeks, Sony and Disney came back to an agreement and said that we will again share Tom Holland. We all want to make money, but it's got to be fair and it's got to make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you guys keep making money, make a little more money than you originally agreed, but it's going to cost you guys sharing universes. This is what I believe. I said this in videos about Spider-Man when this was all going down, and I believe this trailer is confirming it now, not just from this part, but from the end of this trailer. I want to show you. Homecoming and Far From Home are MCU canon and made by Sony, not Marvel. Venom was also made by Sony, but is not in the MCU, or was not in the MCU, and is in the Sonyverse. So 2 films inside the MCU, 1 film inside of the Sonyverse. However, Marvel and Sony always said eventually Spider-Man was going to go back into the Sonyverse and all of his continuity would remain, so that Homecoming, Far From Home, and the Sonyverse would all end up back in the Sonyverse eventually. And Tom Holland would return there too. Tom Holland is now again on contract for, I think it's 2 or 3 more films. I think it's at least Spider-Man 3, and then I think it was 2 crossover films is what they have planned. I'm going to go ahead and guess that Spider-Man 3 is going to be bonkers. I'm going to guess that it's going to be like Sinister Six versus Spider-Man, Venom, and Morbius. That's probably what's going to happen. Like the guys that get their own films that are part of the Sonyverse might have to help out Tom Holland. Or maybe the Avengers have to come in, or maybe the Defenders. Maybe after enough time has passed. I mean, this year, I believe, is when Daredevil, Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, the rights to those characters go back into the hands of Marvel after the 2-year waiting period from Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. So I think by the end of this year, that will all be back in the hands of Marvel to do with it whatever they want. If they're going to recast, redo everything, disregard all of the Netflix continuity, or keep them and canonize it and just say, you know what? Fans love it. Let's just go ahead and keep improving upon that and making more stories the way that we want to make more stories on Disney Plus, probably, or in films. Who knows? So I'm pumped. All of this to say, guys, I know this sounds like a big rabbit trail, but the whole point here is that Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and now Venom are bringing you Morbius. This tells you 2 things. That Sony has no problem letting you know that everything that happens in Far From Home and everything that happens in Homecoming are part of the same project line. It's part of the same Spider-Man universe. And it is. With Venom, it's also pointing out that Venom exists in that same universe. So, the Sonyverse, Venom, And the MCU, Homecoming and Far From Home, are both going to be in the same universe. Whether or not they're going to keep the remaining projects like Silver Sable, Black Cat, all of that outside, I think they're about to canonize this stuff, and I'll show you why. Let's just keep plowing forward. Keep that in mind. I will circle back to it. Look at that. He's going. This is the same, like, looking up in the cave and all the bats go up. This is Batman right here. It sounds like a Batman soundtrack almost, except it's got more of like a like an orchestral horror Dracula type of vibe. What's happening? She says. Wait, I'm gonna play this again. Michael, what's happening? I went from dying. Let's take a look at this. Just wanted to point this out, guys. Look at, so he's not the most ripped guy in the world, but he's pretty fit, and he focused on the parts of the male anatomy that really stick out to most people. The chest, the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, the forearms, and then some ab work. So he didn't have to get into ridiculous shape for this, but he got into a slim superhero look. Like, that's basically what I would want adult Nightcrawler to look like. And I like Cody Smith-McPhee, but that kid is a stick figure. I think Nightcrawler should look like this, and effectively Morbius should too, and he nailed it. So, and plus he went from that super skinny, gangly, sickly looking dude to this, which is nice. It's good to see that they really took the physical transformation aspect literally, and I bet you anything that wasn't CG. I bet you anything Jared Leto just said, no, I'll just do it. And that's probably why it took so long to film. Give him time for the physical transformation to take place. So let's go ahead. More alive than ever. Increased strength and speed. That was where it shows. Yeah, I love this shot too, but this is him lifting a tomb or a statue or something, a door maybe, but he's picking it up by himself. He shouldn't be able to do that, but he's wicked strong. Speed, eyes closed, reflexes. He just senses this ball coming at him. And look at this. I'm not exactly sure whether this is supposed to be teleportation or ridiculous speed. I think it's teleportation because he should be capable of that. He's bamfing it, all that kind of thing. Just poof, 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 just like Nightcrawler does. They call it a bamf. He's all poof, poof, poof. That's what he does. And it looks really good. Just sticking to the walls. Jumping off the wall right here. Some serious comic book level garbage. I love this stuff. And the visuals on this are awesome. I love the vibrant red. I love the vibrant purple. Because it's got an overall darker tone to it visually. They do a good job with lighting. I'm not saying it's got lighting issues. But the tone of it is supposed to be when he's sick, when he's dark. It looks like a hospital with not terrific lighting. But when they go to this part with the superhero action, they really want you to get excited about this. And I love what they did there. Okay, so this is also some characters we're going to see here, including Tyrese Gibson, who is in the Fast and the Furious franchise. I think he's playing like an FBI or police officer, so. This part's really cool. So he says, he has the ability to use echolocation. And then it zooms in on his eyes right here. Look at his eyes right here. Echolocation. So when he's in vampire mode, he's powering up. Do you see his ears too? It looks like his ears are about to transform as well. It's got those like little ridges, and it's sensing all of the sound waves coming in and out so he can use his ears to see like a bat. And so that's what he's doing here. He's sensing everything in the room, but it actually does send out a powerful shockwave when he does this. And watch, it breaks the glass. Do you see that? So look at the light. So if you look up by his head over there, where his face is looking, those overhead lights in the corner, watch this. Sound wave goes out and the glass drops. Do you see that? It starts to shatter. Boom. As soon as the sound waves hit, the glass shatters from above where the lights are. So it's really cool showing how it actually does affect the room, or this could be the sound waves kicking back from the glass. So, but I think it is the glass shattering here. It's pretty darn sweet. Overpowering urge to consume blood, he says. So among the super strength, super speed, super reflexes, it shows him running on the walls, climbing the walls, teleporting, what looks like teleporting. And also, because he does have flight in the comics, I would be willing to bet that that might be a combination of flight and super speed. It could be teleportation directly. I hope it is. I hope they do go into teleportation. And then also this part, showing the downside, showing the negative is that now that he's cured, he's healthy again. The problem is he's got an insatiable, uncontrollable urge to feed on blood. So let's see him do just that. Oh, wait, hold up. That's a cool shot. I want to show you guys this. So first he's raging out under the red light. That's him. And then he goes here. I want to show you his claw. See his claw right here? So it's not just fingers now. Now you notice it's like really skinny, but it's also, he's got long fingertips. Those are his nails. He's dragging it on the metal pipes. Just, and he's about to slash this dude. Just like we saw in the beginning of the trailer. I really like what we're seeing here. It shows that he's partly trying to fight it, but he's also trying to fight them. And then in fighting them, he's going to give into his urge to feed on blood. Bam! Ooh. I love how he just scoops this one dude up. Oh, by the way, this scene is awesome. So here, he's about to slash him right in the face. It's not going to show it in the trailer, but I bet in the movie there's blood. And then here, we have the overhead snatch. So he's going full Splinter Cell on this guy right now. Just dropping in from above. Boom! Snatch! Takes him up. Watch this. So the next shot is going to be super cool. I'm going to do my best to try to capture it. Okay, so he's on the ground. He was in push-up position, laying down. He's about to jump up. This guy's about to shoot him. We're looking over his shoulder like third person here. Bullets are about to fly. I'm going to see if I can freeze frame this. It's going to be difficult. Okay, so he does a push-up. He's about to lunge. Within a split second, just the smallest. There it is. Okay, so you see here, he gets into this forward position with his fingers out like that, and there's a ton of comic art where when he's about to attack someone, he's coming at them hands first, and he's coming at him like with his claws, but he's doing like this like extended Superman, like I'm gonna get you type of vampire flying dive. And that's what we're seeing here. And I think this is probably going to be, if not a really intense leap, our first sign of him recognizing he might be able to fly, because he's about to spear this guy. Watch this. Bam! Right through the glass. Look at this. And then this cool, like, epic anti-hero landing. There. Okay. So there's two things I want to talk about here. I'm going to play this once through. You can watch this. Obviously, you see the clear and obvious important thing we're going to talk about here. Spider-Man on the wall with the word murderer across it. Very, very important. I'm going to circle right back to this in just 1 second. But let's talk about the dialogue he says right here. How far are we allowed to go? Showing Tyrese to fix something that's broken. I'm going to play the dialogue because this is all important, but I'm going to circle back so we can finish it off. But this line is important. Until the remedy is worse than the disease. And then it hones in on him as Morbius, the living vampire. So what he says here is, how far are we willing to go to fix a problem? And his mentor, the guy that he has pretty much been raised by, mentored by, cared for by, his pretty much his only friend, tells him, until we can go as far as until the remedy, the cure, is worse than the disease you're trying to cure. That's an awesome line right there. Super powerful, but it's literally the whole story of Michael Morbius right there. His disease he's dying from. So many people are suffering from it. It's rare. It's incredibly rare. So not a lot of people are suffering, but those who are doomed to die and live the way that they live. How far are we willing to go to cure this disease? And his mentor says, until the fix is worse than the problem. And then it begs the question, should he have let himself die? Should he have let himself go out with the disease that he was suffering from, that was killing him? In saving his own life, he becomes this monster. He didn't want to be a monster. He wanted to help people. He wanted to save people, himself and other people that suffer like he does. So this is really crazy, really deep line. Now, I'm going to go back because obviously there's a ton to talk about here. And we missed a couple of points. Starting right here. I just wanted to get you guys that dialogue. Now let's go into the next part. Okay, so you see very, very clearly here, this is something that maybe a lot of people missed, but everyone who's posting videos like I am right now has this thumbnail where it shows Spidey on the wall. Very specific picture. Spidey with his knees up, and his web. He's holding onto a web back here. Web shooting down this way. That's not Tom Holland. That's not even Andrew Garfield. That's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. That's the Sam Raimi suit. And it's the same image that Sony put out for the video game Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 when they updated to give you the Sam Raimi suit. That's the picture they used, and it's the picture that's in the loading screen. That's it. That's the picture. So it's not just a callback to Raimi, which it is, of course, but also the legacy of Sony and Spider-Man. Sony has been making Spider-Man films since day one. I mean, Kevin Feige worked on those films back around the time the X-Men films were being made. These were way before the MCU. And they're great films. Pretty much everybody loves Spider-Man 1 and 2. Almost nobody loves Spider-Man 3. A lot of people like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, number 1, The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is heavily mixed. A lot of negative things to say about it. And Homecoming and Far From Home are overwhelmingly positive. But this is really cool because it also, not only is it tying in Easter eggs for what Sony has done, obviously, but putting that on the sidewalk next to Michael Morbius with a graffiti over it that says murderer does two things. One, it says that Spider-Man exists in Jared Leto's world. In Morbius's world, Spider-Man exists. He's in New York City, the same city that Spider-Man's from. He's also, this also shows that if it was just a picture of Spider-Man, you could have been like, maybe other product placement. Maybe they're trying to say buy our stuff for the PlayStation game, which it totally will do that. But what it's really saying here is that the graffiti shows that someone in that world tagged the picture of Spider-Man a murderer, which is the same message that came forth from the Spider-Man Far From Home end credit scene when J. Jonah Jameson, who is the same actor from all the way back in the Raimi-verse, just like that costume, he's also in the MCU. And clearly now they're saying that the Sonyverse is the same continuity as the MCU because he's saying what J. Jonah Jameson said in the MCU. At the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, in fact, I wanted to show you guys, we will come right back to this part of the trailer. I wanted to show you guys, you can go to thedailybugle.net and you can actually get updates from Sony this is a Sony website, as you can see from the top and the bottom, that the Daily Bugle has videos and pictures and actual social media accounts you can follow to follow Spider-Man news and updates. There's actual articles. Like, watch, check this out. Let's see if I can go read more. Boom. And it says it's under construction, which means they're updating the site. They're updating the site so that it can follow the events of Michael Morbius. And this website was put up by Sony for the MCU during the events of Spider-Man Far From Home. They did this because at the end of Far From Home, it shows that J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, is actually doing a podcast and a radio show for Sony so that we can connect as fans, which is super, super cool. Very fourth wall breaking. It's so immersive. It draws me in as a fan. I'm like, oh my gosh, can't wait to get more into this, get into the news. That's just a little tidbit for you guys. But I wanted to also go back. So you can, again, find that at the Daily Bugle. Just type in Daily Bugle on Google and it'll take you to here. It's the first one, thedailybugle.net. Now, going back to the trailer. This confirms that the people in Michael Morbius's Sonyverse world were around to get the message that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is accused of being the murderer of Mysterio, who is a villain in the MCU. That's a cross of continuity right there. So even though the Sam Raimi costume isn't in the MCU per se, we do have at least confirmation that people in this world were around for the events of the MCU happenings with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Mysterio, because they got the same message that the Daily Bugle is putting out about Spider-Man. Really, really cool. So let's go ahead and play the rest of this trailer. Not a whole lot left, but there is still more to break down in the direction of what it means for the MCU. So let's go ahead and keep going. Really fast. Not a lot to say here, except that I really like this shot of Tyrese Gibson. Mechanical arm, it looks like, or some sort of biological enhancement here. Maybe it's just reading his vitals, but it looks to me like he has some sort of biological enhancement. Maybe even a bionic arm like Misty Knight got in The Defenders. Would be really, really cool to see if that's something along the lines of what they're doing here. Or maybe it's Oscorp Tech or something like that. That'd be fun. But anyway, I'm excited. He has a multi-picture deal, by the way. So Tyrese Gibson is going to be in this film. Likely Venom 2, I would bet. And probably whatever the next film after that's going to be. If it's going to be Spider-Man 3, for instance. It could be a Sinister 6 film. It could be Kraven the Hunter. We don't know. So, but yeah. So these guys are looking pretty good here. I like this shot. That's Matt Smith, of course, and he is playing, I forgot what the last name of the character is. It's like Loxius something, but he's basically a character that gets enhanced like Morbius does, but he is just straight evil. Like, this guy is evil for the sake of evil, and he's the greater of two evils. Michael Morbius is going to have to probably face off with this guy and try to take him down. Whether or not he does take him down or just wards him off until he can run away and then come back in a later film, I think Tyrese Gibson is going to have to try to do some investigative work on both Morbius and this guy, Loxius, and compare them and say, holy cow, Morbius isn't the guy we're looking for. It's actually this other guy. So, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. To see. Let's keep going. Fix something that broken. How far do you want to go to fix something that's broken? This is an interesting shot here. I'm going to go back. So again, just so you know, he says how far we go to fix something that's broken, and the voice that's speaking back to him is his mentor. He has two people that we know from the trailer that are very close to him. His mentor, played by Jared Harris, and then also the colleague, the female colleague that is the scientist with him that's warning him, I don't think you should do this. Is it legal? That kind of thing. His love interest. One of those two are the only two people in this film that we know from the trailer he cares about. And I think we're going to see something tragic. So he's yelling here. He's screaming. It sounds like he's yelling no. Let's try this again. Okay. I want to pause it right there. This to me does not look like a girl. I don't think that this is a female. This does look like the same room that Michael Morbius was jumping around the walls on. Like he was doing that teleportation thing, like the bamfing back and forth through the hallways and such after he gets his superpowers. Let me see if I can click on that one really quick. So like you notice the walls here, a bit of a pink pattern, but there are tons of artistic like pictures and vases and tables and things in this narrow hallway with like trim. You notice the trim on the walls, the white trim and the edges. Look at the patterns there, very square patterns with ridges. I'm going to cut back to this right here. So you can see this looks like it's the same house. It's got like little tables, little vases, pictures on the wall, and it's got the same squares and edges. So he's using his powers here, obviously going nuts. Either this is him or it could be Loxius, who knows? That would actually be an interesting twist if it was the bad guy here. The real bad guy, not Jared Leto. But then we cut back to this scene, and it looks like he's jumped down on top of someone, but it looks to be too late. He's right here in front of this window for good lighting. And we see right here, it looks like maybe the window or a door or something. And he's very, very sad. This does not look like a pain cry. This looks like a sorrow, broken-hearted tragedy, just lost someone I love cry. So either, I'm guessing here, speculation. It's not a fact. This is just a guess. Either his mentor or his lady died either by his own hand being out of control, or Loxius killed him and he was trying to chase Loxius. That would be a very interesting twist, and give him motivation to hunt down the other guy. Until the remedy. So cool. Is worse than the disease. And that's the shot right there where he flares his red eyes, his fangs, the look. This is actually a shot out of the comics. There was a comic panel where he's like looking over his thing like this, showing his fangs, like that whole look. That to me is that attention to detail, to get everything right, to get it comic book accurate, to say we don't need to change a bunch of garbage to make the fans pleased with our film. We are going to be true to the source material and tell it the way that it was intended to be told when it was written on the page. Even though they're going to adapt it for the film, obviously you have to adapt the story. You can't just do like a single issue of the comic. You can't do a whole series. It's got to be a very clear and distinct story that's cut for a film. But you can get the details right. You can get the characters right. You can get the relationships right. You can get all these things right. And to me, they're doing one heck of an awesome job. And you can't even recognize Jared Leto here. Holy cow, that's a transformation. That's awesome. Morbius. Now, keep in mind, this is also important. The letters go from blue to red to signify that he was good, and there's a wave of evil that washes over him that he cannot control. When it comes, it just sweeps. And then it comes back to blue. You notice how the blue comes back at the top. It goes blue, red, blue. And that's how his anti-hero persona comes in. He gets hungry for blood. He can't control it. He must feed to survive. And even if he denies himself, eventually it takes over and goes into autopilot and he must feed anyway. So a wave of evil will come over him and then he comes back to the good person that he really is on the inside. It's a classic Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dr. Banner and the Hulk storyline. This is what he is. He's Dr. Michael Morbius. And I'm excited. I really love the tragedy bend they're going with this. I mean, you might make the argument it looks like a horror. No, to me it looks like a dark tragedy. And I really like that. I'm really loving this. Now, this is where it gets important. I don't know if you guys can hear the audio here. It's supposed to be coming through right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up just to see if you guys can hear it. Guess who it is? So this is, I think, the most important critical part of the entire trailer. And in tandem with the Spider-Man graffiti picture on the wall we saw earlier, it sets up the entire context. I know there's a lot of speculation going on around there. This actually sets the record straight. So let me go ahead and tell you guys, in case you can't hear the audio, what is being said. It starts out with the voice. He says, Michael Morbius. Got tired of doing the old good guy thing, huh? And look who it is. It's Michael Keaton, which is fitting for two reasons. He was a Batman actor. So it's kind of meta. And then also, he's in the MCU as Vulture. He's a Tom Holland Spider-Man MCU villain that plays Vulture. And get this, guys. If you guys, I'm going to show you. He's also talking to Morbius as if he knows that he's a good guy that has gone bad. Meaning that he understands that he himself is a bad guy. So there was some speculation online saying, oh, what if Michael Keaton's not playing the Vulture? What if he's playing someone else? That's not the case. And I can prove it. Let me go ahead and show you guys. Watch this. Spider-Man Homecoming after credit scene. I want to show you guys some images that I think you'll find very compelling. If I can find the one I'm looking for. Here it is. Do you guys see this image on the top right? Do you see how Adrian Toomes and Matt Gargan, Scorpion, Vulture and Scorpion are in prison or jail, and they have the white suit. It looks like just a white polo or something, unbuttoned at the top. It looks almost very hospital-like, but it's because they're in jail. That's the uniform they got to wear. Take a look at what you see in this teaser. What is he wearing? He is wearing the exact same outfit from Spider-Man Homecoming's after credit scene. This looks like a jailbreak. I think that Scorpion and Vulture have broken out of jail, along with probably a lot of the other Spider-Man hating criminals. And look, it looks like they're in front of either an ambulance or a squad car or something. I think they broke out. I think these supervillains broke out of jail, or Wilson Fisk or Norman Osborn, someone broke them out of jail to get together probably what is going to become the beginnings of a Sinister Six. And I would not even be shocked. I would not even be shocked if this was actually the after credit. If this was the after credit for Michael Morbius's movie, like we wait after the credits and then this scene rolls. He's walking down the street, Michael Morbius, getting tired of doing the old getting tired of being the good guy, huh? And then he says, "What's up, Doc?" Meaning that he knows him, he's met him, he knows he used to be good, and knows that he is now doing some bad. This probably takes place after the majority of the storyline in the film. But it also means that the MCU and the Sonyverse are crossover canon, at least for the sake of Homecoming and Far From Home, but that itself is MCU canon. So we have Tom Holland Spider-Man films being canonized in this Morbius movie. Meanwhile, the Venomverse is canonized, and also because it is Sonyverse, they already confirmed that Sony and Morbius are the same universe, but now they're canonizing in the Sonyverse that the MCU is canon. They are now linked irrevocably. By the way, in case you were doubting the shirt choice here, the undershirt. Notice the undershirt. It's that kind of grayish, looks like a cotton type of shirt, is the same one he's wearing right here. Let me go ahead and blow this up for you. See that? It's the same one. So I go here, here. Same exact outfit. No difference. There is no difference there. He just got out of jail. I doubt he's getting in jail. I think he's getting out of jail at this point. But it's setting up the fact that the Spider-Man villains don't stay in jail. They all get out. They all come back. And they all know that Spider-Man is Tom Holland. He's probably going to have to get himself a lawyer. I think this is either where She-Hulk or Daredevil is going to have to come in because they're both lawyers. One of those two is very likely going to be the one representing Spider-Man in the court of law. I believe it'll be Daredevil. Specifically because New York is the residence of Daredevil and Spider-Man, and Morbius is in this city, and all of Spider-Man's villains are in this city. So I think it's going to end up being Daredevil specifically. Plus, him and Spider-Man have like 1 billion crossover cameos. But I would not be surprised if the MCU wanted to go, hey, we really want this to be She-Hulk to give her more significance and relevance, not just as another Hulk character, but as a lawyer, make her important into the MCU as the defendant of Peter Parker. Or maybe they sue the Daily Bugle and J. Jonah Jameson for defamation. But the villains don't believe it. The villains are like, you know what, that makes sense. And Adrian Toomes is like, news to me, so that he doesn't have to confess to Scorpion that he lied about knowing who he was. Would be interesting. I'm really excited for this. So much in this trailer. This is now my favorite trailer, except for the Mulan trailer, I think, of the last 2 years. I really do. I think this is my favorite trailer for anything in the last like 2 years, probably. I love this trailer so much. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish this thing off. He says, "What's up, Doc?" He says, "What's up, Doc?" and then smiles, obviously because it's Dr. Michael Morbius. But I freaking love Keaton, man. And it's so fitting too that it's not just another Spider-Man villain. It's one that we've seen in the MCU that is a major villain that went to jail, is now out in the same outfit to verify that it's in the MCU. It's not like just him in a different universe. It's the same storyline. And we know that because the reference from Far From Home was canonized. Oh, dude, I'm so excited. Let me see if I can get back to this. Yeah, when it says murderer here, that's J. Jonah Jameson saying, hey, man, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and Spider-Man murdered Mysterio. Even though it's not true. Even though Mysterio is, for all intents and purposes, very likely still alive. Because that's his nature. He is a liar. So even in death, he's not dead. Mysterio doesn't die. It doesn't happen. So anyway. Super excited. Holy cow. That was a lot, guys. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. This film comes out in theaters in summer. So if you guys haven't already, do what I'm about to do. You just make sure you go down here. I've already liked the video, but then share it, leave a comment, just say like something like, I don't know, holy cow, this is sick. Something simple like that. I'll just leave it there. That's pretty much what I'm gonna say. All right, and that's pretty much the gist of that, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and cut back over to my single shot. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, because I want to make sure that I can talk with you guys about these things. My initial reaction, if I could just summarize this trailer, I would say this. I think that the Morbius trailer does a phenomenal job of setting up the character of Michael Morbius as an anti-hero. Clearly not someone that is villainous per se, but has a monster inside of them. It builds the story as a tragedy, which is something that has been sorely lacking from the MCU, really. There's been plenty of tragedy in like Infinity War, and then we see the aftermaths of that in Endgame. We see that in even Civil War. There's been plenty of loss throughout the MCU, but a true start to finish tragedy. A tragedy is a specific kind of story. And I don't feel like we've gotten that yet. And I think that Michael Morbius, even though this is a Sony movie, is being canonized inside of MCU continuity. So, I think this is going to be an awesome fit. I think it's going to feel very similar to like a Dark Knight type of film. Venom was awesome. I love Venom, but I think this is going to have a very different feel. A whole lot less comedy will be in this film, I guarantee it. In fact, the only funny thing about this movie, or I'm sorry, this trailer, was Michael Keaton at the end. That was the only thing that would possibly make you want to laugh. Everything else was like, oh my gosh, oh wow, dude, that's crazy. What? Intense, epic, but not like putting a smile on your face unless you're a geek like me, freaking out that we're finally getting a Morbius, an actually comic accurate Morbius film in the MCU and Sonyverse, tying together those two universes. I'm so excited by this, guys. I flipping love this. What do you guys think about this? I think it's fair to say now, we can actually verify now through what we see in this trailer that the Sonyverse will be canonized in the MCU come Morbius and Venom 2. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to see Venom on screen with Mysterio when he inevitably comes back. We know he's not really dead. Come on. And also, you know, like Vulture, Scorpion, seeing the Prowler come in there, watching Tom Holland interact with Michael Morbius and all these guys, and hopefully even other MCU characters besides Spider-Man characters crossover. Maybe She-Hulk is going to make an appearance in Spider-Man 3 or another film. Maybe we're going to see Daredevil get picked back up after the contract ends with Netflix. I think that's this year. If it hasn't already happened, it's this year, I believe. For sure by the end of the year. So I love it. I love this. I can't wait to see what they do for the second trailer. Can't wait to see this film. I'll probably end up seeing this film like 3 or 4 times. I'm going to buy the Funko Pops. You already know I'm going to buy those. I'm going to buy all the Funko. I'm going to buy Jared Leto Sickly. I'm going to buy Morbius full vampire. I'm going to buy the classic Morbius that they sell at Walgreens that I can for some reason never find. I'm going to get all that stuff. Cuz actually I have a lot of Spider-Man Funko Pops on my shelf back there. I just don't have Morbius for some reason right now. So, yes, I would love to get my hands on some of that action. Anyways, guys, thank you to Shannon for saying excited. I apologize if you guys could not hear the trailer. It's on my side. It looks like it should be playing the audio. I'll have to check that and test it after the live video is over. That way I can get you guys maybe a better trailer reaction. But anyways, canonizing the MCU and the Sonyverse together, I'm over the moon as a fan. And I hope that you guys tell me in the comments below who is your what is your most anticipated film come 2020. And also, what did you guys think about this trailer? What do you guys think about the Sonyverse and the MCU? Is the evidence in this trailer enough to verify that the MCU and the Sonyverse will be canon together and they will cross over? Or is there not enough and we need to wait and see for the next trailer? You guys let me know what you think down below in the comments and leave your best theories about what's going to happen in Morbius down there as well. Because that's what it's all about, is talking with you guys about your thoughts and opinions, sharing mine so that you guys can give me more feedback. Anyways, thank you guys so much. If I could take a quick second before we close out, guys. If you guys want to support my YouTube channel, I really appreciate it a whole lot. If you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things right there are going to boost my searchability, boost me in the algorithm, and I'm going to be able to get found by more people. And I appreciate that so much because I love communicating with you guys. And I know that you guys have a bunch of nerd friends laying around somewhere that would love to see maybe a trailer breakdown or a Funko Pop video or a fan casting or something like that. Something that we do here on the channel. Anyways, if you guys want to support me financially and help me get better tech, better upgrade software, things like that, pay for the expenses that go into making this YouTube channel. As I have another kid coming this month. This will be my 3rd child. If you want to help support that, support the family, support the YouTube channel, click the link in the description below to follow it to my TeePublic account where you can check out all kinds of merch, Spider-Man actor merch. You can check out all kinds of like DC content. I just uploaded like 20 DC designs yesterday. Got a bunch of Marvel. I've got like 250 plus designs or something up online right now. You guys can check out, plus my original stuff of Legend I'm not wearing right now. But it really helps, guys. If you guys want to get yourself a mug for $11, a t-shirt for $14 or $20 or however much it is if it's on sale, The sales go on quite regularly, so check back in there for good pricing. Means a lot to me. So anyways, enough about the promotion. I really just wanted to say thanks. Anyways, if you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like, share this video with a friend, comment down below so we can have a discussion, and again, click the subscribe button if you haven't already. That's probably the most important thing you can do for me. And turn on notifications so you can be alerted right away when I go live next time. That way you guys won't miss another video, and you can be part of the Stuff of Legend by dropping your comments in the live chat. You can have your questions answered live, be on the channel, actually get your theories, your comments discussed in the videos. So that's what it's all about for me. Love having those conversations with you. You guys stay tuned until next time. And again, you're the best ever. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend. Hey guys, D-Lo here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to share this video with all of your nerd friends. I know you got them, and you know who they are. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this discussion. Let me know what you would like to see me do a video on next. Subscribe to the channel because you're a legend, and we have that in common. Also be sure to turn on notifications to be notified right away when I upload my next video, or so that you can be alerted when I go live next time. That way you'll never miss a thing. Check out the other videos on the channel so that we can have a discussion on all your favorite movies and TV topics. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.